My earliest memory going back when I was 5 or 6 years old, where I remember being in my room with my mother, surrounded by my other sisters. She was just crying after my father's beaten her. And I remember just being there in her arms while she was crying, with my other sisters crying, I'm crying. I remember feeling a frustration and a rage in my heart. Being too young to do anything about it, I felt a responsibility to look after my mum and parents, and it's made me resent my father, made me angry. I just quickly wanted to grow up, just to protect my mum. See my father beat my mum, put a kink in my heart. It broke something in me. My ability to relate to people, especially family. All I wanted was a father. I didn't belong, but I wanted to belong. I spoke the language, but going home, it was different. It was Vietnamese spoken at home, and I would hardly speak Vietnamese, and so I felt isolated at home as well. So everywhere I went, whether it be home or school, I just felt alone. With all this going on in my heart, the feelings that I'm feeling, I guess it just stored up in there until I went to high school. I think it expressed itself in anger, in violence, where I went from school to school always fighting. I got expelled in year 7 for fighting. Just getting into trouble, bringing knives to school. I was just angry. After my first, getting rid of my first batch, and I had some money in my pocket, and I felt good. I went to eat and paid for my own meal. And I bought my first pair of Air Max, where I saw and I lusted since I was a kid from these guys. So I had things. I bought some things and I felt good. Going home with a brand new pair of shoes. And then, I'll go to sleep next day, get ready to go to school. I'll get all my drugs ready again. I'll go out extra early. It's probably the best time to go out as well. And I'll get rid of my stuff within 15 minutes before my train came. And so I'll go to school with bundles of money and loving it. I didn't think about consequences. I just thought, this is my new family. This is the guys that love me. And so, because of that, I did what was asked. I thought about the way I was brought up. thought about the things that I've been through, the rejection I felt from my family, from my friends not coming to visit me, stirred up anger in me, where I couldn't wait till I was released, where I can just go back into my life and show everyone I don't need no one. I did a couple of months inside, and at the time of my release, I felt freedom. And so I was confronted with two choices to make: either go back to school, make my parents proud, or go back to the life I knew growing up. I made a dumb choice, and I continued dealing drugs for the next 8 years of my life. I started off with about 5 of my friends and some of my sister's boyfriends. And so we got together, we rented out houses, and we just made a killing. I enjoyed this life because of the money I was making. I enjoyed it when I sat down in one of the rooms and just counted all the cash that I had. Put 10 grand in each Glad bag and just stacked them up. It took me just hours just to count the $50 notes, and I'll make sure they're all set up and put up in the right order. It was just this lust I had for money. I'll take up to 2 grams a day. I was first smoking it, and then I started injecting heroin, which really destroyed my life. And so one weekend, we're in a club where the daylight's just about to break, and I'm dancing in the middle of the floor along with my cousin and some friends. This guy pulls out a 6-shot revolver. I look down the barrel of it, and as he pointed it at me, I tried to run. As he did, he pulled the trigger. All the commotion was going on. Security guards grabbed me. You know, I'm ducking into the light where all the guys were. They started breaking bottles and just coming up to me. What happened? I'm thinking I'm shot. But I'm feeling myself that not one of these bullets got me at this range. What I was thinking at the time, it was just all happened so quick. At 22 years old, I can't stand this life that I'm living. And so I go to the church that I was raised up in. Having relapsed on heroin, I hit my knee down at the altar, and I wept and cried. I cried and I poured out my heart before God, the only person that ever saw everything that I went through. And I asked him, I said, if you died for me to live like this, then I don't want to live. I'm at the end of myself. So I asked him with tears in my eyes running down my face, if you are there, then please give me a sign. Crying, weeping like a baby. I got up from there and I went home. The very next day I was walking through Cabramatta where there was a church playing R&B music, and I was drawn to that. While I went up, this guy handed me a flyer with the words written on it, "If you're looking for a sign from God, here it is." I was amazed. I took that flyer and I was in awe of what I saw. I didn't understand all that was going on, but I sat there and I listened to this guy tell me about the gospel, about how Jesus came and died for my sins. Things that I know in my head, but I didn't know it in my heart at the time. So right there on the street, he asked me to pray, to ask God for a new life, to forgive me of my sins. And so I did that. On the 8th of February 2004, I said a prayer that changed my whole life. I said, "God, I believe that you died for me and that you rose from the dead to give me life." I asked him into my heart to change me. And in that moment, I bursted out in tears. And let me tell you, it wasn't tears of pain. It was tears of joy. Right there in the middle of BKK, Cabramatta Mall, where everyone knew me as a dealer, I bursted out crying and weeping. I'll tell you, I received redemption right there on the street in Cabramatta. On that day, salvation came to me. It was hard for me to just put that life away. For 8-9 years of my life, this is all I knew. But having come to Christ and knowing what he went through for me, it didn't happen overnight that I got off drugs. I had to make some hard choices to cut off some bad influences, to see what I wanted for my life and make a choice and a decision to change. It was very, very difficult. But I made those choices. And today I'm clean. I'm free. I'm so free. You lock me up today, I'll be free. If I can influence one life to not live the life that I've lived and escape that pain, then that's my drive. It's my duty is to lead them away from that kind of life and do what I can in understanding, having gone through it, show them a different way and a better way. My father now, he's no longer abusive. The language barrier is still there, but like anything, it's a lot of body language that speaks. And I know when I come home to visit him, he doesn't say much. But when I go over and kiss him on the forehead, he still shows no emotion. But I know and I feel that he is thinking in his heart, that's my son, and that I love him. And our relationship has restored. My relationship with my sisters have restored. My relationship with people. I speak to people and strangers off the street like they're my best friend. I could never do that in the past. I have a love in my heart which God has put there, which is amazing.